What's up, Knicks fans? Say it with me now. Our team is the NBA champion, and we want to celebrate with you all summer long. Knicks Film School is headed back to Fanatics Fest this summer from July 16th to the 19th in the Javits Center, and we want you there with us. It's 4 days where the entire sports world comes together under one roof. Come watch our live episode recording on Friday, July 17th, and while you're there, you'll get the chance to see your NBA champion New York Knicks, like Finals MVP Jalen Brunson, All-Star Karl-Anthony Towns, starters Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, and so many other athletes and celebrities. You'll also have autograph sessions, live podcasts, immersive activations, and the FIFA World Cup final press conference, all in the Javits Center. Right now, the code KNICKSFILM20 gets you 20% off your tickets at fanaticsfest.com. That's KNICKSFILM20 for 20% off your tickets at fanaticsfest.com. So let's keep this Knicks championship celebration going this summer at Fanatics Fest. We promise you won't want to miss it.
Well, fuck me and just, yeah. Welcome to a Knicks Film School emergency live stream. It is your boy, Jonathan MACRI here. We have Jeremy Cohen coming up in just a few moments. This was supposed to be a very different type of show. I have Rebecca CHASEN here, my girl, Rebecca, who has been in a state of perpetual celebration for the last 17 days or whatever the fuck it's been. And today was supposed to be a culmination of that celebration. As we were going to come on here, we're going to have some special guests, some Knicks Film School friends of the family. What does the Knicks championship mean to you? And then we got told, excuse my French, Becca, but to bend over and just take it.
Pretty
and
much.
That's what we're sitting here doing right now, because after Rebecca's beloved Ariel Hukporti departed for that crappy city down in South Jersey, which was the opening salvo, it turned out. We just got the news that Mitchell Robinson is going to the team that is probably, all things considered, the Knicks' most hated rival traditionally, going back to the old heads back in the 60s and the 70s. And since we already had Rebecca here, before we get into all the cap stuff, before we get into what this means, X's and O's and all that stuff, I just want to hear, because Rebecca, you are the truest, purest fan that I know. How you feeling about this one?
I'm sick. I'm absolutely sick. Even when we first got ready to do this, it was just Hukporti, which I was, as everyone knows, already devastated about. And this was way to kick a man while she's down, or they're down. All of a sudden, I just hear John freaking out, and I'm like, "What's going on?" I'm getting on my phone.
We're literally getting ready to go live, and I just go, "Fuck."
I'm like, "What happened?" And I'm looking out, my phone starts blowing up, obviously, and Mitch is gone. And not only is he gone, but he's going to Boston. In my head, I just thought he was a Knick forever. He obviously was drafted here. He's kind of the epitome of loyal, or so I thought. I get it, all the money stuff, but I never thought it would happen, especially to Boston. That was never something that even went through my head. I heard all this Lakers stuff. Honestly, that's kind of all I heard. I feel just things about him maybe going to the Lakers, and while that would hurt, it's on the other side of the country. This, I'm sick.
I'm gonna save my thoughts for the moment on my thoughts about him going to Boston, my thoughts on him taking the money, my thoughts on how the Lakers played into all this. Lakers obviously just made their own massive acquisition at center, getting Walker Kessler from the Jazz in a sign and trade. that I don't think it's a coincidence that these two moves were announced within minutes, the seconds of each other. Before I get to any of that, though, before I let you go, I will ask, like, unlike Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and Deuce McBride and all these guys, well, maybe not Deuce, all these guys who have been here when the Knicks are good. And again, the Knicks are good because of those guys, so it's like a chicken or the egg conversation. Mitch was here when the Knicks were shit. And you are a diehard fan. You have been a diehard fan for your entire life. You have been going to games for years and years and years with your dad. Your dad was supposed to come on the show today. What does Mitch mean to you as a fan?
I mean, even though he's this like big country Southern guy, he always just was New York when he was here and when he was playing. And it's just like I said, I just never thought of a world where he didn't play for the Knicks or he was playing for someone else. And he was here when they sucked. And really, it's like definition started from the bottom. Now we're here, which is such a stupid thing to say, but like it's the truth.
Not in Mitch's case. No, he literally started from the worst Knick team in the franchise's history. 17 wins.
And he was like such a I feel like a presence for the guys in the locker room. I mean, even for all of us, like watching his stupid posts, like he's hysterical. Just everything about it. He was just so like he was this team, as much as like obviously Jalen Brunson is this team and OG is like he literally was here through it all. He's like not that any of those guys were like bandwagons because obviously like they got us here, but it's like he's like pure. He was like born here. He was born here.
Well, so hold on. You say that, and it's like you laugh, but I don't mean this derogatorily. That's not a word. Mitch was a child when he came. I know he was 18 or 19, or whatever the hell he was, 20. It doesn't matter. He was a child when he came
grew
into
up
this
here,
organization, and he turned into a man. And yeah, it's the emotion of this is hitting me.
I mean, you even see like on draft night how he was talking and he's so shy in the beginning.
Couldn't put him in front of a microphone.
Oh my
Could
goodness.
not put the man in front of a microphone.
And then we got Mitch's block party, that show. Like he became such a character on this team in like the best way possible.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.
Thank you for pouring your heart out a little bit. Let's get Jeremy up here. Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
Hello. Man, it's been quite the morning, huh?
Is it still morning? Yeah, I guess it is still morning time.
It is.
Before noon.
I'm having a drink. I can't with this. Rebecca, you're the best. We're gonna do another version of the show that was supposed to happen today.
We'll figure that out another time.
We will.
Sorry, Rebecca.
See you guys.
I'll talk to you later. All right. If it's all right with you, I have something I want to say, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, and you could get to the stuff that people want to hear. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be two reactions to this. Well, maybe not only two. I think two of the reactions to this are going to be fuck James Dolan. And I've already, I wish I didn't have to say this, but I've already seen it a couple times because I've scrolled a little bit. At fuck Mitchell Robinson for going to the Celtics, the hated Celtics, the longtime rival Celtics. And I just want to sit here and say right now, in regards to the first thing, the James Dolan piece of it, I'm trying very hard not to be very upset at him for this. It's a 3-year deal with a player option. It's for the full non-taxpayer mid-level. That is about that's like the high end of what I would have defined as reasonable if you put aside the second apron, which obviously the Knicks did not seem like they did here. So it's not that I don't have smoke for James Dolan. I do. But the vast majority of my emotion is with Mitch and it runs counter to any sentiment whatsoever that exists that is not 100% praise and love and thanks and gratitude for what he has given this team over 8 years. I don't blame Mitchell Robinson one single iota for going and getting a bag that he absolutely, rightly, justifiably deserved, and that he deserved to get from the Knicks. And the fact that he didn't get it from the Knicks, because and I don't care about any of this. We're reading into radio hosts and talking heads and this and maybe and whatnot. No, the owner came out on the radio and said the thing. Ian Bagley said to me 2 days ago, whatever it was, yesterday, 2 days ago, the entire league is operating as if the Knicks are not going over the second apron. For Mitchell Robinson and his representation to then go and find a deal and sign the deal, I don't care if that deal was with the Los Angeles Lakers, the Boston Celtics, or the fucking Kalamazoo Yellow Jackets. It does not matter to me. He got his bag, and good for him to get it. I am going to always root for him. I won't root for the team he plays for, but I will root for him in a way. And I said this 2 years ago with Isaiah Hartenstein. I said it that day. I'm like, good for you, man. I don't begrudge you one bit. And I'll say the exact same thing, except this time I want to say it exponentially more. Mitchell Robinson instantly becomes the former Knick that I will root for the most. I will have never rooted for an ex-Knick like I will root for Mitchell Robinson to be successful, to stay healthy, even to learn how to hit free throws. Because that guy meant so much to me, and I know I'm not the only one. And I just tried to get this out with Rebecca, and she did a good job of saying her piece about it. When there was nothing, there was less than nothing. There was a void. There was a vacuum of space where your hopes and dreams as a fan are supposed to be. And there was nothing else but him for a period of time. And he stuck with it, and he grew, and he got better. And he grew as a basketball player. He grew as a person. He became everything you could have possibly envisioned when he got drafted in the top of the second round 8 years ago. And I'm going to miss watching him play. I'm going to miss hearing his sound bites. I'm going to miss seeing his smile. I don't care what that sounds like. I really don't. I will miss it. I will miss seeing him on the bench. I like this one really hurts. This one really, really hurts. And again, to be clear, I commend Mitch. I'm not mad at Mitch in the slightest. This one hurts. And I want to pay homage to Mitch and what this means from that perspective before we get into the other part of it. So I just wanted to say that, and now we could move on, and I'll give the ball to you.
Well said. The reason I was smiling / laughing is because when you said you miss his smile, it reminded me of the Anchorman scene when Champ Kind is talking about Ron. He's like, I miss your laugh. I miss your scent.
Jeremy, I swear, I had the exact same thought. I was laughing at the exact same thing. I miss being near you. Mitch, when all this is done, I hope we can go get an apartment together. I swear I had the exact same thought. He was so passionate and so thoughtful. And I was like, don't mess it up. But then you started laughing. And I was like, I wonder if we're thinking the exact same thing.
No, that's the thing. I don't want to reduce the very wonderful words that
it's fine.
Said
we can reduce
to a scene in one of my favorite movies ever, but it was so, and clearly I'm not the only one. I will always be grateful for Mitchell Robinson's time in New York, to that point of the fact that the last game that he played as a Knick was securing an NBA championship after all of the crap he saw over the years. I will forever be grateful and indebted to that. And yeah, he's a really funny guy. I'm sure that Fred is going to maybe miss not having, or maybe not, honestly. He may not, but there's a playful nature there and a levity. And he's in a lot of ways just like a big, lumbering, lovable oaf. And I think that what he was able to do, I mean, I have not seen anyone outside of maybe Steven Adams, and I don't watch Steven Adams that often, secure offensive rebounds quite like Mitchell Robinson. Shot blocking and everything. It's just, he meant a lot to this team. That said,
I knew there was a that said coming.
It's not a fun. It's a that said.
It's a that said.
I don't wish Mitch poor in the slightest, but I am not going to root for him quite in the same way if the Boston Celtics, who, again, we talked about this on yesterday's live stream, my least favorite team, getting Mitch. I'm not going to root for him to start hitting free throws. I'm not going to root for him to break offensive rebounding rates or percentage, whatever it would be. I'm not rooting for that. I'm not rooting for him to do poorly, but I'm not rooting for the Celtics to benefit. I think that he got the bag. He did everything in his power. I'm not even upset at that. And there's a part of me that's like, as much as I wish the Knicks could have spent on him, and would I, if it were my money, would I do it? Sure. We just have to see how this plays out. Like, I understand the second apron concerns. I have talked about it. I recognize the frugality involved with Dolan and how that could be an impact there too. All of it. I get it. But for whatever reason, I am able to separate the personal and professional, the business and the pleasure more, especially with Mitch. And it's going to hurt to see him walk. And whoever is coming in next has big shoes to fill, 100%. The Knicks are likely going to downgrade in talent on paper. Not even likely. There's going to be a downgrade in talent on paper. There is the health element.
Sorry.
Well, we could talk about replacement options. I'm sure that's going to
I'm not willing to concede that quite yet, but sorry.
Either way, the surprise isn't Mitch is gone. It's that he's gone to the Celtics. And I don't fault him, again, for taking money. If anything, my only hope from this is that the Knicks and the Celtics work together to do a sign and trade into the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, because that's what Mitchell Robinson signed for. And they are able to get a TPE that opens the door for them to get a solid backup center, because their third string option is no longer available. And also, by the way, when Huckporty left, one of the first thoughts I had was, well, welcome Nick Richards. Good to see you in a Nick uniform pretty soon as a third string center. That was just my own thought.
What's the benefit for the Celtics to do a sign and trade?
They could get an extra second. They could just steal him away, of course, but in the same way.
So the Knicks are basically giving a second for the ability to get a little extra cap room. It'll be interesting to see if a rival will deem that in their best interest to give the Knicks that.
Well, we have a good past precedence from this, because if you remember one Evan Fournier, how was he acquired?
From Boston.
And how was
bit? Hold on, different situation.
No.
The Knicks were they were not a contender. Sure. These are arguably the two best teams in the Eastern Conference.
I understand. I'm just saying that teams can work together, and it's still possible.
It's possible. I'll bet you beverage. It doesn't.
It doesn't really. But to me, it doesn't matter, because the Knicks can either cobble salary together around the deadline to get a backup, or they get the TPE route. So that's why I'm not taking the bet, because it's either they fill it today, or
tomorrow,
next few days, whatever, or they do what we thought going into the deadline, or the free agency opening, of they'll just address it when they feel it's imperative to do that, and they have until February. So they could do the TPE. If they didn't, the Knicks still have opportunities to go about it. If anything, though, I don't see how many options there are, not only on the market, but like, you got to think someone like Kevon Looney, where Boston could have been an option. It was talked about. I don't see a lot of opportunity for him, especially with a contending team. So I would imagine that today's news for both Huckporty and Robinson probably pushes them closer to getting a guy like Looney, because I just think that spaces are drying up and minutes are not to be had nearly as much. But we'll see.
All right, let's turn to the basketball of this. I want to shout out Jonas. Shout out his newsletter, the Cap Crunch. Texted me probably an hour ago and being like, because I forget. Oh, I was right. Brooklyn spent their money on Mo Wagner, and I was like, so who's the Mitch team? And I was like, it's got to be LA, because how are they getting Walker Kessler? And we had that question answered for us. And I'm curious about your opinion on, because my theory at the time was that Mitch was LA's backup plan if they couldn't figure out something with Duran or Kessler. And then he had some other team out there who was willing to give him like a 1+1 for their full taxpayer. With all the non-guaranteed money that we've been seeing the last 24 hours, the Norm Powell especially, I'm like, is Mitch really getting multiple guaranteed years? Turned out, not only did he get multiple guaranteed years, he got a freaking player option as a third year. So anyway, this was my mindset an hour ago. And Jonas was like, what about Boston? And my reaction was, please God, no. It's the one team. It's the one fucking team, because, and my thinking was, man, that's a lot of money for Boston to devote to a player who they know as well. Everybody's been talking about nobody loves Mitchell Robinson like Joe Mazzulla does. That's true. Also, nobody knows Mitchell Robinson's his Achilles heel as well as Joe Mazzulla does, because no one has been as willing to employ that strategy as much as Joe. And surely they're very smart organizationally. They know the minutes, games, restrictions that are going to be involved here. And would they want to commit that level of money? And then I caught myself, because I was like, wait, they're not just getting Mitch. They are taking Mitch away from the Knicks. So it is 2 for 1. And in Neemias Queta, and we'll see what happens if there's an extension there or something, like everybody agreed, you can't go into next season if you're the Celtics with Neemias Queta as your main center option and hope to compete for a championship. What else did we get?
Sorry,
Mamu to the Lakers
for 4 years, $52 million in LA. That's good for him. That's 13 a year.
That's a really nice number for a guy who played on the minimum last year. My goodness gracious. And that is a lot of money they have invested in the center position now. Okay.
Kessler, 4 years, 130 is crazy. And the Lakers,
it's that plus what they gave up for the right to pay him 4 years,
which is right now, as Bobby Marks tweeted, LA has a swap to Utah in 2028, a swap to Utah in 2030, first round pick to Utah in 2031, and a first round pick to Utah in 2033.
And so, like, and look, I wrote about it today for the Knicks Film School newsletter. I was like, if there's one takeaway from day one of free agency, is that centers still have a lot of value. Have a lot of value. So clearly look at what LA did. And again, Mitch, player option in the third year. So yeah, the 2 for 1 but now it's like, you don't just have Queta, you get to, it's honestly, maybe it's not as ideal a situation as he had with the Knicks from a games played, minutes played, ideal. He's the backup, but he could also play with the starting center. Maybe it's not perfect because you're not putting Mitch Robinson out there with Neemias Queta, but like now you have 2, 20 to 25 minute a game centers who do some similar stuff, some different stuff. And it's a good situation. And like Boston got better today. There's no way, there's no two ways about that. They got better today.
Boston got better and the Knicks got worse.
And the Knicks got worse.
Just the way it is. I would imagine that with Jaylen Brown, there's a chance that the Celtics also shake up their roster a bit. And I'm very curious to see how they do that, because they have a large traded player exception at their disposal, and they could figure out ways to still stay below the first apron and the luxury tax, really. Because it didn't matter. The luxury tax is a lower number than the first apron. So even though using the non-taxpayer mid-level exception hard caps the Celtics at the first apron, the luxury tax being below it and Boston not wanting to go above that means it doesn't really matter. But if they move Jaylen Brown and get pieces back, number one, they can take any of those pieces into the traded player exception. And number two, they could shake up their roster in a way where if they had to, things still work accordingly. I mean, maybe they still could use a stretch five. Maybe with Keita, they could still extend him, but maybe they also don't because they look for someone else who's able to give them more shooting at the 5 position. Honestly, not sure, but Boston can do different things. I'm curious as to how they retool it, but Mitch is a starter on that team. He's a better player than Keita, no doubt.
He's a better player than Keita. It doesn't mean he's necessarily going to start, but yes, we're all in agreement that he's a better. Whoa!
I think there's
wow. That's a lot of Quentin Grimes.
4 years, $60 million. Hey, good for him for betting on himself.
Yeah, it's good for him. I don't.
Daryl Morey really messed that one up. Oh my God. There's a reason why he's not employed in Philadelphia anymore, and that is one of them. The reasons, I should say.
Oh my God, that's a lot of Quentin Grimes. My Lord. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Knicks situation. I'm actually going to hold off on let's save the replacement conversation and what the Knicks do now for last. Let's stick with the second apron Dolan stuff for a minute. Mm-hmm. Would this have been, and I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me referencing and praising your second apron explanation, and like it was exceptional.
Thank you.
And so that's why I'm asking you, would this have been a smart contract for the Knicks to sign, this exact contract, in your opinion?
Overall, I was comfortable doing it. That the mid-level exception, I think I might have mentioned this, that 15
Sexton,
and change.
sorry, Sexton to the Lakers as well, 2 for 19.
They need offense somewhere, or some sort of creation.
Settling all family business today.
Yeah. He's with Clutch too, isn't he? Or
yes, he is.
Did he leave? Yeah.
I think so, unless he left. Yeah, I think
he might, yeah. Well, not that the Lakers have to really be in the Clutch business anymore.
If they don't want to be.
Yeah. So, the breaking point for me was that non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Anything more than that, I would not have been comfortable remaining in the Mitchell Robinson business. Because there is a certain point where where is his value simply too much? Or rather, where is the price point no longer in line with everything? And it seemed like the Celtics can afford to take this gamble because of the fact that they're going to be below the tax this year.
Yep.
And then presumably above the second apron one of the next couple of years, at minimum in the tax for both of those years. So they can afford to do this.
The Celtics swallowed their bitter pill last season.
Yes.
And good job.
And they paid for it. And
they paid for it.
They're going to try to ball on a budget this year, which is not easy, but it's not impossible. I don't want to say teams below the first apron can't succeed. They can. They absolutely can. It's just a question of, usually spending more money can help you, but it's not every team is built the same way, and that's totally fine. With the Knicks, there's still a world based on what we have seen with Mitchell Robinson and health where they were right to walk away. I'm not sitting here telling you right now they're right to walk away, but I think if we're just being honest with ourselves, the Knicks, we're looking at the Celtics potentially saying, yeah, this is still worth it for us, but he's missed a decent amount of games, and that does impact winning. And he wasn't the dynamic player that Knicks fans were hoping he would be come playoff time. He had his moments, 100%. I'm grateful for those moments. But the lack of consistency was a concern. So I know in the moment right now this hurts, and I'm by no means saying that this won't hurt, because all it takes as well is one really nice Mitch game against the Knicks to feel the burn even further. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that in time we're like, okay, it would have been nice to keep Mitch, but the cost of business is not quite as painful as we would have thought. again, this isn't a prediction. This is a hypothesis. Prediction-wise, I expect him to still be very good for the Celtics.
So the number that I have kept coming back to, and I'll make sure I get the exact decimal right because I don't want to fuck it up. The number that I have kept coming back to is 13.9. And that's how many minutes per game Mitchell Robinson played in the playoffs. To pay $15 million a year for someone that played 14 minutes a game in the playoffs, on paper, in a vacuum, is not, for a non-starter, again, 14 minutes a game, non-starter, in a vacuum on paper, that's not good business. To go into the second apron and to start your second apron clock this year, when you could be pretty sure that the second apron, or let me rephrase that. When you're not going to be sure that you could dip out of the second apron next year and the year after that and the year after that, to start it for that player on that amount of money, again, on paper, is perhaps not smart. Where I am running into issues here is, I guess, threefold. One, as we just talked about, as the first 24 hours or however many hours, 18 hours of NBA free agency have made very clear, if you do not have 48 minutes of quality play at the center position, you are not winning. You're just not going to be able to win. Go talk to the San Antonio Spurs about Luke Cornett, who was a signing that was praised a year ago. And it was a good signing on paper. And yet, when push came to absolute shove, was Luke Cornett good enough for the Spurs to win a championship? One would say that he was not. And that guy's really good, and we could pinpoint other examples throughout this playoffs. I mean, look at how the Pistons suffered when Jalen Duren didn't come to play. Look at how the freaking Thunder suffered when they realized, oh, we can't have Chet Holmgren as the only big man on the floor. You need quality center play. It's why you want to talk about luxury items. It's why the freaking Thunder just gave Isaiah Hartenstein a $25 million a year. You want to talk about luxury items? And they will have other compromises that they will have to make because of that signing. You need 48 minutes of quality center production. That's number one. Number two, and we've talked about this on here, we've talked about this for years. There is no one else quite like Mitchell Robinson in the league in that he does something that it does not matter what your game plan is, you can't stop it. If he's on the court, you can't prevent him from kind of wrecking your game plan. Now, there is an asterisk to that. Hello, Mr. Mazzulla. In that, can you take him off the court? And how much does that continue? Does that evolve into a strategy that teams will use more and more and more, including potentially the Knicks against the Celtics this year? That'll be fascinating to see. But like, you start him at the top of the quarter, you start him first quarter, second, whatever. Finagle his minutes so that he's on the floor to start a quarter. Like, there are ways to work around that. And you can't prevent what he does. You can't. You just can't. It doesn't matter who's on your team. Doesn't matter what you draw up. Can't prevent it. That's number two. And then the number three of this, and this is the part that is going to get the most attention, I'm guessing, was this a decision by the front office? And we just don't know that. Like, we could sit here and we could guess and posit, and like, I know Ian and Steve Popper on the putback yesterday kind of insinuated like this isn't just James Dolan. This is like the front office has to be at least part and like, somewhat on board with this, and maybe they are. We don't know, but the mere possibility that the Knicks did not come to the plate here with a real offer from Mitch was born out of James Dolan either hearing something from a buddy at a bar, like, hey man, second apron, you don't want to go into that. Oh, okay. Or more dastardly is like, over my cold, dead body, will I give Adam Silver the satisfaction of seeing my team go into this punitive thing that he has set up for free spending owners, even though there's a flip side to that coin where he could have flaunted the penalty in Adam Silver's face and be like, ha, fuck you. You think this is going to make me not pay? I'll show you. We print money here at Madison Square Garden. He didn't go that direction. He went in a different direction. Again, we don't know any of that for sure, but just the specter of it makes this sting that much more. And that's kind of where I'm at.
I hear you. We
and you don't have to agree with me, Jeremy.
Sure. It's just I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, maybe the front office was completely comfortable with running it back in the second apron, and Dolan said no. Maybe there were some misgivings, and Dolan still said no. It doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but the result is what
doesn't.
The result is the result,
It is what
right?
it is.
Like we can be upset about the second apron or not. We're in this position. So the way that my brain usually operates is in times like these, I don't dwell as much on the emotional aspect, rightly or wrongly. Because then it's like if I don't process it. Well, no, because if I don't process it emotionally, am I actually tackling it at a certain point? Because then when something is solved, I'm not solving the emotional side that came with it. But for this, it's like my mind is more, okay, I'm solutions oriented naturally. So what is the solution? That's where my mind goes, which is why everything that's been said about the emotional component of Mitch, important. The biggest thing for me, though, is he's not a New York Knick anymore. Who's going to be? That's where my brain goes to. And again, I'm an emotional person, but in moments like these, I try to just be more tactical than I do nostalgic.
And I want to get there in 1 second. I have to say one last thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this hurt so much? Other than the connection to Mitchell Robinson as the player, why does this hurt so much? Because the Knicks just proved that with Mitchell Robinson on the roster, they can do what?
They win a championship.
And we know that because they just won one.
Sure.
This hurts because we saw them win a championship with this core.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not put the cart before the horse. Like, this doesn't take away what just happened. It is unfortunate. No. It is a potential misstep. We could argue about that. We could debate it until the cows come home. It hurts because they won a championship with this roster, but they won a championship with this roster. And that's why we so badly wanted them to keep it together. I just hope, and again, I've learned long ago not to tell anybody how to fan. As bummed as I am about not seeing Mitch in a Knick uniform anymore, and as much as it will hurt to see him in a Celtics uniform and ultimately have to root against him, despite what I said before, we're not going to root for the Celtics. It's not going to take 1 ounce of joy away from, and like it's not like my summer is now going to be dampened. Like, I'm still going to like revel in like orange and blue glory for the rest of the summer because we did it. And that doesn't change anything. This today does not change anything. And that's how I'm going to approach it. And I wanted to say that.
Yeah, you're right. He was part of a championship team, which is something to celebrate always, forever. That is a huge portion of it. I also wish that Mitch had been more impactful in the playoffs than he was. He had moments that he was very impactful. Do not get me wrong. But Mitch also did not bring it quite in the same way that he could have. And that it just simply is what it is. It doesn't matter because his efforts, no matter what, led to a championship. I'm still going to wonder, what does Mitch look like without a broken hand? It doesn't matter. He won the championship. That's great. But, it's the sort of thing where I could understand. It's like if I lob 99 compliments at you and one level of criticism, the criticism is going to stick. It's going to stand out. And in this case, I look at the Knicks and I look at the fact that realistically, including Diawara, 9 of the 10 guys that they have in their rotation will be back.
Yeah.
So right now, we've got Mitch gone and we've got Hakpurdi gone. If we assume Sohan is gone too, if everyone else were to return, you're still running the championship team back with 12 players. And mind you, some of them are going to be guys who aren't going to see the court. But you're still doing it. You're still retaining the large portion of your core that, as you just said, won a championship. And this isn't well, forget about Mitch. It doesn't matter. This is, no, remember what does matter. And what does matter is that the team that got the Knicks to the holiest place possible, while Mitch played what, 15 or so minutes per game in the playoffs?
14.
14. Like, it's not, well, it's so easy to fill those 14 minutes. It's not. That's why these guys are paid the way they are. It's to fill this role. But the rest of the team is still intact. And I get that Boston got better. They absolutely did. I also don't know if Mitchell Robinson would be the thing that swings them to be what they were versus what they could be. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it helps them. Yeah. But maybe in the Philly series, I could see that definitely being the case because against Joel Embiid. But even still, there are other things that they need to do to take care of business. And the Knicks now need to replace Mitchell Robinson. And they need to likely do it while staying below the second apron.
And look, if you want to make yourself feel a little bit better, well, I know I keep saying additional things. If you look at all the rotation players, anybody who played double-digit minutes for the Knicks in the playoffs, the worst guy in terms of plus minus was Mitchell Robinson, and that's not an indictment against Mitch. That is more a way to sing more praises for Karl Anthony Towns, and just note that, like, over the last 2 years, for as much as there have been times, as much as I have said, boy, are we sure the Knicks are a better team with Cat on the floor as opposed to Mitch on the floor? We have now fully gotten to the place where, yes, the Knicks are just a better team with Karl Anthony Towns on the floor than with any other option. That is not going to change. That does not change. It like, that's just going to be the continuing case. So, like, again, if you look at the numbers, just the data, the Knicks kind of survived the Mitch minutes in the playoffs for as many big plays as he made and for as good as he was at moments. To your point, Jeremy, because I'm sure there are people listening to you and be like, well, he wasn't great in the playoffs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Grab the key offensive rebound and this and that. The numbers don't really bear that out. The numbers say that they struggled. And, you know, when stuff gets tough in the playoffs, I was even thinking about it yesterday when we were talking about the Brunson Mitch connection kind of in the non-cat minutes and how comfortable Brunson has become operating in those scenarios. That's true. It didn't look as pretty in the playoffs, and you could blame, we could talk about why that was. That was the case. So and then the other thing, and I just saw someone bring this up on Twitter, I think, who's watching the live stream. Then we'll move on to what the Knicks do now. You mentioned the broken hand. Mm-hmm. Presumably the Knicks know how Mitch broke his hand.
I would imagine they did and do.
Do the Celtics know? Do the Celtics care? How much did that play a role in their hesitation here? I hope. I just wonder. That's all. I just wonder. I don't
think the Celtics probably care because they needed the talent and they're willing to take the gamble on that, clearly. But it's also, and again, we can look at all of the good things, and I want to cite them. Incredible offensive rebounder, one of the best ever. Good defensive rebounder, fantastic shot blocker. Just his rim deterrence alone, phenomenal. Could come out in the perimeter, but also there were times where he looked a bit out of, like, there were spurts during the season where he just did not look like himself. And I think that there are two things that I think not having Mitch on the roster will benefit the Knicks It doesn't mean that it's beneficial in the whole, but two things that I think are important. Number one, Mitch was a play finisher, but that meant that he finished the plays. He wasn't usually that involved with playmaking. You know, there are times where he could do a DHO and he could roll to the rim, good partner with Jalen Brunson. That would be something that is very much missed. But it's not like we were seeing a lot of open, dynamic playmaking in a way that, for example, Isaiah Hartenstein brought. And I was more upset with Hartenstein leaving than I am with Mitchell Robinson leaving. And then number two.
And Melton back to Golden State.
Yes. And Middleton going to Miami.
Oh, that's official now? Okay.
It seems to be the case.
Seems to be.
Yeah. The other thing is the benefit of the Knicks being able to go more into the bonus because of Hakamich is something they will lose. But also think about the points that they may gain with not having the worst free throw shooter of all time on the court.
And
those are points that they're literally called free throws. You have to hit them. And it's an important factor. It's you take the good with the bad.
I have to correct myself. You nailed something, and I don't even know if you realize you nailed it. You said before Mitch is going to start for the Celtics, and my immediate pushback was like, well, we don't know that because of the minutes limitations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course he's going to start for the Celtics.
Yep.
And I said it before, so we could start the first quarter and then maybe start the second, maybe not start the second. Definitely start the first quarter, and probably start the second because you don't play him for long stretches. You play him for 5-6 minutes at a time, and then you bench him, and then you bring him in and start second. You know what was never going to happen here? He was never going to start games. And based on the way the Knicks have operated the last 2 years, and based on every indication of how they want to continue operating, Mitch was never going to start the second quarter or third or fourth either. Those are Cat's minutes, and we've seen how the Knicks want to operate in those minutes. They want it to be Cat and a bunch of shooting and playmaking around him. Like, to the extent that they ever went double bigs, it was not in those scenarios. So the Hakamich thing, like, we were always talking about ways to try to finagle your way around it. It was going to continue to be a thing. I'm sorry, the light bulb just went on when you were saying that. And
agreed. I mean, even getting someone like Kevon Looney would be an upgrade when it comes to the free throw shooting. And he wouldn't hit a lot of free throws, but like, the one thing that lives in my brain when Mitchell Robinson would go to the free throw line is when my friends and I would just be like, give me one, just give me one. Like you take the good with the bad, like I said, but that was bad. That was really bad. Just saying, like, hey, rough. I hope that this guy goes to the line and gets one free throw. And I will always remember how fun it was being at the Knicks Sixers game when he just hit. He missed the first and then hit all the free throws afterwards, going crazy. And they wound up losing that game for whatever it's worth.
They did,
which is not a Mitch thing, but it's like we can dream larger than please just go to the line and hit a free throw. I'd be happy with a single free throw. There has to be more to it because we saw in the finals, especially on the Spurs side, missing free throws caught up, and it could have burned the Knicks with Hart and OG and even Bridges. It didn't, fortunately, but margins of error they stack up. So and you want to be able to hit your free throws, especially when the Knicks have a higher free throw rate in general.
So we will have the luxury of potentially enjoying the fact that the Knicks backup center will be someone that hits free throws if they could find someone to replace Mitch who checks enough of the boxes that we need them to check. And that brings us to the final portion of this conversation, which is, what do they do now? And we could handle this. There's two parts of the conversation. It's do you trade for the replacement, or do you sign the replacement in free agency? Actually, there's three parts of the conversation. There's the trade or sign someone in free agency part of the conversation. There is the sub under that is the, okay, then who is it part of the conversation. And then there's actually a third part. And again, shout out Ariel Hukporti for getting a few extra dollars in Philly, which is, how many Mitch replacements will there be? And will they have just one backup center behind Karl-Anthony Towns on the team next year? Will it be one person on the regular roster and then Trey Jemison III comes back on a two-way and he becomes a more important piece for them? Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong. There's nothing prohibiting them from bringing back Jemison on a two-way.
That's correct. He's got one more year of eligibility as a two-way player.
Yeah. And again, shout out Ariel Hukporti. We'll always have the block on Luke Cornett at the rim. Like, may have helped them win. It did help them win a championship. There were a lot of times this year where I answered super chats after games being like, why is Trey Jemison not playing ahead of Ariel Hukporti? He's better. So like I maybe that
older,
is
to be fair.
He's
Jemison is
older,
like
yes,
27 years old.
But depending on who they wind up getting to play this backup spot, I wonder if that, like, if they really shore this up with someone that they have a lot of confidence in, does Jemison as the third center on the team become something that is more palatable to them? Again, we don't know. They're also kind of running out of roster spots here, so we'll see all of this. Do you want to go through some options? I'm sure there's going to be stuff in the super chat, so I don't know. You tell me.
Let's start with the super chat, and then I'm sure it will naturally arise that way.
That sounds like a great idea. I believe Andrew Claudio is going to be joining us pretty soon as well. But I am just going to get things started off here with the first super chat of the emergency live stream from AB Height.
AB Heat.
AB Heat. Yeah, that's it. Is Boston the most unforgivable destination? So. Yes. It's the most not ideal destination. Again, the forgiveness part of it implies that, we're mad at Mitch, and I'm personally just not, but to each their own. Bill Peter, here, we'll go back and forth. Bill Peter, friend.
Well, East and better, and no matter who they can,
East got better.
East got better. Yes, thank you. Yeah. East got better, and no matter who they get, I will just be a bit worse, but good for Knicks and fans should still cheer for him. He got us a chip. Time for Leon to go to work.
Yes, time for Leon to go to work. Thankfully, Leon is good at going to work. Thank you for the very generous contribution, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, and the Celtics got better. That's the part that hurts as much, if not more, than the Knicks just losing Mitchell Robinson. So, Lunas, what's going on, Lunas? To Brute. Listen, you go where the money is. There's been a league where you go where the money is for as long as I've been watching it. That's never going to change. They were willing to pay him, and the Knicks were not. So, like, to me, you mentioned Isaiah Hartenstein. To me, this is like I had no ill will at all against Hartenstein when he took the bag. The difference is that, the Knicks, we know the Knicks were offering 17. I mean, pretty sure the Knicks were offering 17 a year for like 4 years, which is the most they could have with the max raises. So, Hartenstein took effectively, I'm trying to do the quick math.
It's like double,
like 66% more than that, like 29 versus 17. So
it wasn't. I don't think it was even 17 that they could have offered. I think it was less than that. There was like whatever the gap was there. If we are to believe that the Knicks were not going above the second apron, the gap between what Mitch got from the Celtics and what the Knicks were quote unquote offering, to the extent that they ever actually made an offer, was like there was a much bigger gap, relatively speaking, in terms of like the percentage of dollars. So yeah. Manny Campos, I'm happy for Mitch, but this hurts. Fuck Dolan. You think there's going to be a lot of this sentiment? And actually, on that note, Drew P., I'll never forgive Dolan. Good for Mitchell Robinson, retired 23. Yes. And again, this could still work out in the Knicks' favor. That's not to say don't feel the way that you feel. Your feelings are valid no matter how you slice it, but it is what it is. It just simply is. Again, I would have gone above the second apron. My breaking point was what Mitch signed for, but that still includes re-signing Mitch. How do we solve this issue now? Time to go to work, Leon.
Good news is he's done it before. It's you.
All these from Jason M. All these idiots that said the Knicks don't need Mitch are going to see when we pay the fucking Celtics. Play the Celtics. Thanks, Dolan. Is Mitch going to be healthy for those games as well?
Look, if he's going to, I think we all just have to mentally prepare ourselves for the fact that there's going to be moments against Boston this year where Mitchell Robinson does to the Knicks what he has done to other teams while he's been in a Knicks uniform for years. Like, that's going to happen. It's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be unpleasant. It's going to hurt in a way that I'm not sure. I mean, I've never experienced. Like, I've just, again, maybe this, call me heartless. I've never really cared about it other than Isaiah Hartenstein. And even Isaiah Hartenstein, it's like when the Knicks played the Thunder, it's like they were in a different conference. They played them twice a year. Like, it wasn't painful for me to watch Isaiah Hartenstein in another uniform. Like, this is the first time in my life it's actually going to like hurt to see a guy in a different uniform. But you know, what it is.
This is the first time it's going to hurt
for me personally.
Yeah.
More
than Hartenstein.
Yeah.
I don't have the same emotional connection.
Mitch means more to me. The only Knicks in my life that mean more to me than Mitch, and this fully hit me when this news hit, to be very clear, are Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, I think. That's it. You know? I've
got OG ahead of him. I've got several.
A lot of people probably do. I'm sure they do. I
get where you're coming from entirely. It's not the same emotional shock to the system for me.
Nick Papa Giorgio, am I allowed to be really angry at James Dolan yet?
No one's going to tell you not to be.
No one's going to. Man, James Dolan, one of one. Like, any goodwill that fans had towards him after this championship is going to be gone. Is gone. And that's kind of a shame. Although, who gives a shit? Here, Max Davis.
Max Davis. Feel like a family member just died.
It hurts. Really hurts. It really, for some more than others, I think. But it's completely. It's completely.
I'll go to the funeral. It's just it doesn't feel like a family member to me. But it still sucks entirely. Agreed.
Yeah. Look, different players resonate with us in different ways. Mitch just resonated with me in a very particular way. This is you.
From Hush. He's really going to get his ring in green. WTF or WTFF.
I tweeted this out. But surely now the Knicks and Celtics will open the 2026-27 NBA season, right?
Probably, although I would still hope it's Pacers. But yes, I think there's an added element to this rivalry.
Yeah. I think I would have said, like, I actually did have this conversation with Andrew Claudio via text yesterday or 2 days ago. Oh, is he coming up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Jeremy, real quick before John finishes his sentence. Oh, I should get this off. I wore one of our shirts, by the way, to remind everybody, even with Mitch on another team, let's see. Cup champs, conference champs, world champs. The New York Knicks are reigning NBA champions. So while this is a bit of a funeral today, we can also still celebrate Mitch. Just to close the loop on what did we find out yesterday with John? If it makes sense to him. So this being like the biggest Knicks loss of his life, I'm here for it. Honestly, I like seeing the robot field. So there you go.
I didn't think I would. I woke up this morning. I actually not even woke up this morning. Like the last several days. I had a specific thought this morning where I'm like, this is crazy. Like Mitch is gonna leave. Like I had prepared myself for the fact that Mitch is gonna leave. And I was like, and I'm totally cool with it. Not like I was like rooting for it to happen. Not like I wasn't still keeping hope alive that it wouldn't happen. But like mentally, I was thinking about the fact that they just won the title, and I'm like, man, this is really not bothering me. And then actually seeing the news and seeing that it was Boston, it's one of those things where I'm like, wow, I didn't it was a good reminder that I still feel things. So that was encouraging.
I'm glad you still feel things too, brother. You know, I'm somewhere in the middle of you both, quite literally on screen in the middle of you two. But like,
That's good.
I'm gutted that Mitch is gone. I mean, Jeremy knows this from I think we talked about this with Fred. I was kind of ready for the Knicks to move on during the playoffs. The hack of Mitch was a thing.
You didn't enjoy that?
I agree with your sentiment of what you do need to replace him, and replacing him just got more difficult. The Celtics are very interesting now because the whole Mazzulla ball, they don't have a stretch 5 on the roster or a small ball 5 at that point, unless they're not playing either of their centers. So like they're going a different direction. But I was ready to see what the other options are out there. The scary part is I don't see the replacement that keeps you below the second apron without a trade. So
why do you hate Nick Richards?
I think that's a Hakordi replacement at this point, man. So we'll see what happens. So finish the loop.
So we were going back and forth on text yesterday, and I honestly forget how the conversation came up, but we were talking about opening night opponents.
It's because you thought that Toronto was in play.
Oh, that's right. Toronto signed Kawhi or traded for Kawhi, and I'm like, they're a potential opening night opponent. You were like, you're a fucking moron, Mac.
0% chance.
It's going to be Boston.
Yeah.
And I think you were like, it's 70% you thought it would be Boston and 30% someone else. And I was like,
I said Miami. I said it was like a 70% Boston, 20% Miami, 10% Indiana. The Miami percentage goes up if they get LeBron.
I think the Indy factor also has to be considered, as I think about it, reduced, because it's number one, it's a smaller market. Number two, they were the worst team in the East last year. And number three, we don't know what Halliburton's minutes look like. So if there's a restriction, which I would imagine there would be, then how much of that game is competitive? How much of it involves Halliburton? How exciting is it as a league product where you can sell Knicks versus Celtics, Knicks versus Heat far more? I'm in complete agreement.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm rooting for it to be Boston because I want Mitchell Robinson to get the ovation when he gets his ring on opening night on national TV. I want him to have that stage. I want that should be a thank you to the longest tenured player on the team.
Yeah, my sentiment for this is when we heard the first report, when Fred and multiple people put out last week of the second apron mandate being real and that the front office wasn't the one that was pushing for it. It's that is very much a thing that caught them off guard, right? When that happened, some of the text conversations I had were like, man, it's going to suck if Mitch isn't there to hang the banner. And if he's there technically when the banner is hung and is there technically to get his ring on ring night, it actually works as a bit of closure. And you give him his ovation, you give him his ring. He can watch the banner go up from the opponent's huddle, and then Mike Brown has a chance to do the funniest thing possible in the second quarter.
Yes, and and I bet you he will. Ian just tweeted out, and others have said this, how fitting that the final play of Mitchell Robinson's career is not only an offensive rebound, but as big an offensive rebound in franchise history and NBA Finals history. All the things.
Pulled it down with a broken hand.
With a broken hand. There you go.
And one thing I do also want to point out here, and Andrew talks about this all the time, appropriately so, is that fandom is emotional. The fanatic, that's the fan part of this. And I want to preface this by saying this is in no way me saying it's good that he's gone, and it's good that he's gone to the Celtics. But I want to remind fans, because it's so easy for it to be lost, of how often emotion can be a factor. We cheersed to Jalen Brunson signing a contract yesterday, 4 years earlier? It was a 4-year anniversary.
Yep.
Might I remind people that it seemed the vast majority of fans out there were very much against this and said it was an overpay. Now, no one here.
But yeah.
No,
I honestly, Jeremy, I don't
is.
remember. I don't remember. I know you
I
guys.
can tell you as a
fight with
Jalen
Chris
Brunson,
about it,
Brunson truther from the jump. And yeah, I thought he could be a star. I didn't think he could be a superstar or a 1A when it was happening. But there was a lot of, you just got an undersized guard who had a few nice moments in the playoffs, whatever it was. Like, we're not going to have history revisioned. There was a lot of people. There were a lot of people upset about it. When you look at the RJ and IQ trade for OG and Anunoby, what? I can't believe you would trade these two young players for a guy who's never even been on an all-star team, who, whatever it is, all of that. Even the Cat trade, to a degree, lesser so, but to a degree.
Oh, no,
the Bridges trade.
Yes, the Cat trade.
All of these picks, like how many of the moves that have paid off for the Knicks, and there have been plenty that have not, but how many of the ones that also paid off were immediately like, that's a damn good move, and I love it from a big portion of the fan base, because our first reaction is to react, and it's to be like, what? And it's outrage. And then we go through the 5 stages, and then we get through it, and we move on eventually. And there will still be people who are going to have this linger, and I am not faulting them in the slightest. I just am pointing out, and this is why, again, the front office is paid the way that they are paid, that so much of the decisions that led to the first championship in 53 years were as a direct result of trading players that meant something to us emotionally. And it doesn't mean that Mitch walking is a good thing. But if they can turn this into an opportunity that still keeps them as a contender and then some, it's a different story. So feel things as much as you want to feel, folks. Not telling you not to. But we've been in this place before. We've had similar feelings, and things turned out really, really well. And it's not to say that that can't be the case again.
To back you up on that, you could argue that the one major period of missteps in the Leon Rose regime was when they had one of the feel-good Knick teams in Knick history, and there was a feeling of an obligation to run that team back to a certain extent. And they signed several deals that did not age well, and they had to pay. And look, they did it, and they did it without getting hurt too much, but they had to pay a penalty on draft night to get Jalen Brunson into the door a year later. Not saying emotion purely drove those signings, but like the way that the feeling in the fan base was at that time, it's like, well, they just were a 4 seed and they won 41, went 41-31. Like you can't, break up the team already. The thing I'll say, not to push back on what you said, but as a caveat, you're talking about the front office making decisions.
Yeah.
That's the part that we don't really know if we have here.
I get it, which makes total sense.
If this was a front office decision, and look, when John and I did the intro last week to the Monica Pod, like I was kind of in your similar spot, Jeremy, that the Mitchell Robinson loss won't be as significant to me, but replacing him while having to stay below the second apron feels like a tall task. And I think that's where my brain is at the moment, where it's like, damn, we lost Mitch. Fuck, we lost him to the Celtics. Well, shit. I'm sorry I cursed 3 times, Dad. But like, I'm sorry. Like, how do you replace him with the options that are available? And are you going to have to now say goodbye to another defending champion in order to make it happen?
Well,
I agree with all of that, and I completely hear the ownership portion. That said, the reasons that we talked about that Mitch is not the wisest investment, even if you still overall want him to be paid, like I was comfortable with him coming back and going over the second apron, those are still significant concerns. There's no way around it. And I know you're not disagreeing, to be clear.
I'm simply past the Mitch part to the what's next part now,
sure. But we've seen, especially on the injury side, Mitch get hurt. Imagine a world here where the Knicks are above the second apron, Mitch is hurt, and we're wondering how are the Knicks getting a backup 5 that's not Huck Porty. We don't have to think about this. It's purely hypothetical because this is looking at the worst case scenario, but I don't think the worst case scenario is out of the realm of possibility if we had to play it out just based on where we're at. And again, I keep going back to this team load managed this player, which we're talking about load managing a guy who's earning 15 mil a year. That's something to be considered too for at most really like 18, 20 minutes a game in the regular season, unless there's an injury or cat or foul trouble or whatever it is. That's a lot to invest in a player. It's a lot to invest in your team where now you're just like, well, what do we do? Because I even had this argument with Kevin Danishevsky. It wasn't even an argument. It was like just going back and forth last year where it was like, if Mitch goes down, you're screwed. What's your plan B? There's probably not a plan B. So now at least the only benefit in my mind to him not being here and getting injured, if that were to happen, is you can already say like, well, we know that's not an option. So now what do we do? How do we fortify our position at the 5, knowing he's gone, knowing we would have preferred, I would have preferred him to be here, but we simply have to move on because he's already moved on.
I'm going more to John's side of I'm going to need more than an emergency live stream to move on. And I have all summer, thankfully, and whoever they decide to replace him with too.
No one's wrong here.
I wish this could have been announced in like the end of September. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But yeah. All right, let's get through some super chats. We can go round robin. Let's get Andrew up, and then we'll go from there.
Chumpa Lumps. We've been in much bleaker situations along the way, and now we're NBA champions. It may not be obvious right now, but things will work themselves out. Agree, Chumpa Lumps. Agree.
Yeah. Knicks didn't lose, Jalen Brunson or Karl-Anthony Towns or Giannobi.
They lose a starter.
Yeah, they lose a starter. So, yeah. Jeremy.
Sure. C. Powell, unfortunately, we could not match that deal. The free throw issue is real, and now he's making more millions than minutes per game in the playoffs because of that shortcoming. It's a great point.
It's the number that's why I said keep coming back to that one. Oh, sorry. You're going to do it, Andrew?
I got it because you keep taking them off the screen. So I got it. You're good.
Hush Zoo, from a basketball standpoint, man, that's annoying. Now to guard Missoula Ball. Best offensive rebounder now with a heavy 3-point shooting team. That's a good call, Hush. That's a very good call. A lot of deep rebounds when you shoot threes, and like Mitch's specialty is rebounds that are under the rim. So it's a good call, but also I don't we'll see. Why Mitch? Why them?
Another one from Hush.
And I got to remind myself. At least we got it done. That should not be. I got to remind myself. That should be like.
Ring night, by the way, opening night, if it's Celtics Knicks like we're saying it is, sure, Mitch is going to get his applause. He'll get his ring. But you know what's going to get the number 1 applause of the night? The banner that says Championship New York Knicks 2025-26 rising and never coming down.
Yep.
It's there forever. That is what's going to be the single biggest thing that night.
Yep. Next up.
Knicks basketball. Like you said, Jonathan, we're on track of Dolan's legacy being that we won in spite of him, not because of him.
If I don't say so myself, it's the best point I think I've ever made on this show. It's true.
The one thing, and I'm not going to defend Dolan.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of years for why that did not work out well. He did enough that was good that it led to a championship. It doesn't mean that he didn't make mistakes. He made plenty of them, but he eventually got on the right foot, and it eventually led to where we're at.
He hired Leon Rose. By all accounts, he has allowed Leon Rose to operate unencumbered for the entirety of Leon Rose's time. And the one time you could say he stepped in, as we talked about, like with the Thibodeau situation, who knows if the Knicks would be champions today if he did not step in? Would Leon Rose have come to that decision on his own if he was left to his own devices? Again, we don't know. I'm inclined to think not. So, and he's always spent up until, ironically enough, now. So like it is not a true like F you Dolan, like you've been good for nothing, but it's just a tough. Like, why? Just don't go on the fucking radio and say what you said, man. Imagine if he just never said anything.
Yeah.
No one would be any the wiser.
I wish you didn't do it before the parade too. Like,
I mean, just his sense of timing is just impeccable.
Michael Aaron, I'm pissed that it's Boston. My childish coping. Remind myself how this dude got a boxer's fracture before the finals. Love you, Mitch. God damn it. Yeah. Oh, I'll read this one from Vontes. Okay, with the O is a 0 and the E is a 3. Disclose the source of the pinky injury. I wonder if Fred will put that in the book.
I don't know. We'll see.
Pre-order it now. Under the bright lights.
February 16th.
There you go. Jeremy.
Music in my pocket. Has anyone checked in on Robert Cross?
So
it's funny that you say that because I actually did.
So Robert was supposed to come on the show today. This was supposed to be like, again, a celebration of the Knicks championship with some of our KFS longtime MVPs, and we pivoted.
By the way,
what? Yeah, July 1st.
It's on me.
What are we doing?
John wanted to do this, and I was like, probably not last week. And I was like, let's do it next week. And then I didn't put 2 and 2 together July 1st, knowing we also have next week where there's a whole gap and before Summer League. I had the thought to pivot early this week, but John had already done the legwork to start scheduling people. So I was like, hopefully everything gets done Tuesday night. And here we are. Sorry, Rebecca.
Speaking of Robert Cross, the whole reason I thought of this show was because Robert reached out to me after they won the championship, and he's like, you got to get me, like, can I come on the pod and say whatever I want to say? And I was like, fine, I'll design a whole fucking show around you, you motherfucker. And I did that. What'd you say, Andrew?
Just like an unnecessary you motherfucker. Yeah.
Anytime I can motherfuck Robert Cross, who I love like a family member. It's just talking about Mitchell Robinson. Robert's he's our number one. He's our guy. Listen, if you want to DM Robert right now and see if he wants to come on, by all means.
You and your ideas. Robert, you'll come on the replacement show that got rescheduled when it happens. We promise. Okay, that is.
I will also
check. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I will shout out Robert for another reason, which is that Robert and his team were in charge of working with us to design the Taito Flight logo, and they did a great job. So just for that, I feel the most for. I feel for you, John. I do. I feel the most for Robert because I know that is truly his ride or die.
Yeah. He's always loved Money Mitch. So
Macri.
Big Country plays CFB.
College football.
College football.
There we go. Stop crying. Knicks in 5. Every move gets bitched about and then praised because it brought us a championship. He's always hurt. Move on. Wasn't hurt this year.
I'm less to that extreme, but I am with it.
We literally broke his hand.
I was going to say, except at the worst
he was hurt this year.
Yeah.
Quite literally got hurt before the finals.
Had surgery.
Yeah, couldn't catch
before the finals.
Yeah, Knicks in 5 while he had 4 fingers. And listen, he got one very big rebound in those 5 games, and it happens to be the last rebound he'll have as a Knick. John again.
Okay. Daryl Ebanks. What's going on, Daryl? Nothing will make me not love Mitch. I'm actually okay with not going into the second apron now with Brunson making $80 million a year soon. Yeah, again, we're a lot of this show has been about like separating emotions from whatever is on the opposite side of emotions. And like part of the reaction today can absolutely be like, hey, like, we ducked the second apron for this year. That's like that has a real benefit. Jeremy did a whole freaking show about it, and he mapped it out. Go watch if you want to feel a little bit better about what happened today. Go back and watch everything Jeremy went through. It's more relevant actually today than it was when he did it. That's real. That's a real thing. It's just there's a lot. It's a situation with a lot of complicating factors. I think
it's a silver lining, but you don't go in for silver linings.
No, you don't follow sports for silver linings. But.
No. Also, Brunson won't make 80, which is, at least not on this next contract. Which is, I would be surprised if he did.
Mangu Man, no love lost from Mitch. Heart emoji. Deuce is the last OG Knick I can be irrationally attached to. He needs to retire here. I can't lose both.
The last of the Knicks kids, so to speak, with RJ and IQ and Mitch. I mean, Mitch wasn't really a kid in recent years, but like you get it.
Hypothetically, they trade Deuce. Jalen Brunson becomes the longest tenured Knick?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Brunson, then Hart.
Wow. Talk about
brand
roster
new team.
turnover. Yeah, seriously. I'll read this one too. Joseph Sokola, I 100% blame Dolan. Katz, Begley, and even Bondi, even Bondi is funny, thought we should go over. We had a unique chance to repeat with a team that discovered magic, and our moron owner seemed more interested in sticking it to the NBA. Same old Dolan.
Thanks for the contribution, Joseph.
I mean, I don't disagree with the sentiment. I think they could still repeat.
That's the
They're
thing.
just gonna have to find
What
it
if
back
what
in
if
there.
Dolan is right for the wrong reasons? Like, what if this works out?
It could.
I get it. The odds right now feel lesser. They really do. I understand. Not even disagreeing by any stretch of the imagination. But this can still work out. It truly can.
So
I understand him not being there yet, though.
Shout
100%.
out to our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook. I am, no pun intended, I'm willing to bet that the Knicks championship odds did not change one iota. Or I don't know if they're up right now. I'm trying to look right now.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I gather Boston's increased though.
I maybe. We'll look that up in a sec. Let's get Tony
Jeremy
up here.
From Tony, Mitch shouldn't get one boo when he returns to MSG, by the way. Hurts, but I'm happy he got his bag. Dolan created the situation. Hope a trade is coming. I agree. Mitch should not be booed. He has every right to make the decision he did. Where he also went stings, but that's not worthy of booing unless it's during the game where he is dominating, in which case it's like an affectionate boo, but also I feel like a lot of fans wouldn't be booing at Mitch. They would be booing at those who let Mitch go, and that's just the way that it is.
I'm seeing it right now. I'm pretty sure this is the same as it was yesterday. Celtics plus 600, Knicks plus 750.
And then for the conference, Celtics plus 230, Knicks plus 290. So almost identical odds to win the conference.
Yeah.
Jeremy, another one.
Easy Quiet. Dolan said, "Hey, New York, I'm sorry it took so long, but here we are, and hopefully it won't take that long again." And he immediately handicaps his front office. I'm sorry, just frustrated. No need to apologize.
Yeah, don't apologize for that.
There's no reason to.
It frustrating is probably the kindest emotion that you could have right now. If you're not even, I shouldn't say that, because there is definitely a sentiment, as we've seen in some super chats, with like he was hurt a lot, like the hand thing, like the second apron part of it, like all of the stuff. Like if you're out there right now and you're like, you know what, this may very well be for the best, that's justifiable. But for me, the frustration is equally, if not more so.
5 stages.
Yeah. But also the kindest moment is probably good luck to Mitch, got his bag. Now what? It's almost not indifference, but like an understanding of where the Knicks are at and the dollars, and it just is what it is.
Can I just ask you guys real quick, how much, to the extent that this hurts, and I understand, Jeremy, you may not meet that basic qualifier. I'll ask it anyway. How much more does this hurt because it's Boston?
It was my first reaction to it. It's not just that Mitch is gone. When I saw the Shams report when I saw the tweet pop up, and you only get the first however many characters, and like free agent Mitchell Robinson has signed with, and I was waiting, like I was bracing myself for either New York or just like another team. And when I saw it say Boston Celtics, it actually it pierced me. So I gotta
tell you, I think this hurts like 250% more because it's Boston over like LA.
I was rooting for Sacramento. I was hoping he'd go get a bag and never win again, and now he's literally something we'll have to go through most likely to repeat next season.
Yeah,
I was in a meeting when it broke, and so I saw the beginning of it, and then I didn't read the middle, and I clicked on it to hover, and then I saw the end of it. So then what I read was the middle of it, and then so the last thing I saw was the Celtics.
No.
So I saw the dollar figure, and then I saw it was the Celtics portion. However, my eyes were operating, so I was like, "Oh, depart." Oh, to the Celtics. Oh man.
John.
Lunas using Hackamich versus Boston will be pretty funny. Have the Knicks ever did Mike Brown use Hackamich or Hacka anybody at any point last year?
Not that I can remember.
Yeah, I can't either. There's not as many guys in the league as you could use it on nowadays. Come to think of it, did Tibbs ever use it?
No. I'm not saying words. We've heard you too much today.
No, that wouldn't.
That required too much forward thinking, is what I was gonna say, and creativity. But he would. Again, this is a guy who just Precious, you'll figure it out.
Don't even run zone.
Yeah. Joseph Sokola. I'll do this one. You have this is Joseph's mad. He's got a couple. You have a 3-year window with a championship team. You don't think beyond that unless the deal is nuts. They're jeopardizing Cap's window for the second apron. We are weaker now for no good reason. I'll let you respond in a second, Jeremy. And guys, why aren't we talking more about Dolan asking for sacrifice from everyone, getting team-friendly deals left and right, and when it's his turn to pony up, he's sticking it to the league instead? Another one from Joseph. Hold on. What confuses me, guys, is you both seem to be thinking years down the road. We are at the mountaintop now. Like Fred said, string the asset and win now. Popper said it yesterday. What are we doing? I'm just gonna double check that Joseph doesn't have another one. I don't see it. If he does, okay. React.
Let me do my best because there's a lot to work with. I appreciate Joseph. So number one, like I said, I was comfortable going above the second apron to get this done. Not even which would have harmed the down the years portion of it because that would have led to a frozen pick. I was comfortable with that. I was. Can you throw some of them back? Because I'm trying to remember everything and I want to address all of Joseph's points.
Dolan asking about sacrifice.
Sure. That I agree. I agree that in my mind, call me crazy, that a billionaire should be more comfortable spending. And these are millionaires still, but they're sacrificing their own money because I just don't love when members of a team have to sacrifice for someone that can afford it, but maybe just isn't feeling it. That rubs me the wrong way personally. And then there was another point in terms of the Jalen Brunson's window. Like, again, do I think that this singular move closes Jalen Brunson's window? I don't. Do I think it makes it harder for Jalen Brunson? Sure. But he still has the rest of his team around him. And the Knicks have plenty of time between right now and February to find a suitable replacement. And it doesn't mean that they will, but that's their job. Their job is to do that. And we will see. So I totally get it. I would have been comfortable spending. But there's an avenue here to stretch the window. And I know I've said before, windows close sooner than you think. This window is still wide open. There's still time. We'll see what we can get.
I'll just say that like the last point that he made about like they have a championship roster right now. Just keep it together. I hear that, and I just want to say I very much appreciate that sentiment. I want to see what they do here. Because I think that there is a world where they can come out of this, and this is at the very top of the live stream. This is why when Jeremy, you were like, the Knicks are definitely not going to be as good or whatever he said. I forgot what the words were. I have so much respect for this front office, regardless of whether it came from Dolan, 100%, 90%, 50%, whatever. I have so much respect for the front office that I am not willing to put it past them to put a team on the floor next year that is as good or better as the team that we last saw on the floor in Game 5 of the Finals. So I want to see what they do.
What number do you think Mitch wears? 23 is retired by the Celtics.
Oh, was he always 23 for the Knicks?
He was 26 to start, and 26 isn't. The Celtics have a lot of retired numbers.
So then he'll wear 26.
Okay. You're not interested in that conversation.
I could.
So we'll just move
not
on.
possibly.
You don't know numbers. So what's Jalen Brunson's number?
11.
What's Josh Hart's?
3.
What's Karl Anthony Towns?
32.
What's Mikal Bridges? I knew we'd get
25.
Oh, you got it. Deuce McBride.
2.
Oh, you know what? You've gotten better. What was Allen Houston's?
20. OG's, just stick with this team. OG's 8.
Uh-huh. What was Alvarado?
What is Alvarado?
Uh-huh. What was Shamit? What is Shamit?
Wait,
Excuse
you
me.
didn't answer Alvarado.
I don't know Alvarado.
I'm asking both. Jeremy, what's Alvarado?
I don't know everybody else on the team.
Number 5. Yeah. I thought about
Hokporty
putting
was
him.
50. Was Hokporty 55?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. You've gotten better.
I got a real question.
What?
One little something. What's Dylan Jones's number?
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Does he have a number?
Was it 0?
Mm-hmm.
I have
According
no
to City
idea.
Hall, it was 33.
Ah, there you go.
I think he was number 1.
All right. Jason M. Wait. Did we already go do this one?
No.
Okay, Jason M.
Jason, Nick showed the value of 48 minutes of good center play. The league took notice, and now we have no center depth. What a way to start a title defense. As of right now, they don't have center depth. Let's see what happens in the coming hours, days, or weeks.
It's been, just to mention this, it's been 19 hours and 11 minutes since free agency started.
Yeah.
There's still players on the board. And once again, I don't expect them to make anything trade-wise until February. If they do, worth noting, but I don't expect it.
We'll see.
Bill Peter friend, is there a future world where there can be a cat or okay, hold on. I just need to
You got
it
it.
caught me so off guard.
You got it. Come on.
Is there a future world where there can be a cat for Joker deal? Is the front office looking long term?
Do you want to respond or no?
I lobbed that up to you guys.
No. I don't think I think this is the core they're going forward with, and I don't think they're thinking about Nikola Jokic.
Jokic is also older than Karl Anthony Towns. Not
Fun fact.
Look, I'm just saying in terms of long term.
I appreciate that we answered it from a Knicks perspective. The Denver Nuggets are not trading
Probably
Paulie
not.
Jokic for Karl Anthony Towns.
No,
No, that's not gonna happen. Thanks, Bill.
Go ahead, John.
Javier Montalvo, we are NBA champions. Do not forget. Thanks, Mitch. I love where Javier's at. I'm disappointed, but I love where Javier's at.
Jeremy.
from Hush, Looney and Richards as our 2-3 string centers. Very meh. That's pretty much where I am at. That you signed both of those guys. You have an open competition, but really, I think the guy who wins that out is Looney. Richards is the third string center. You shelve him. And then as time goes on, you see, is this going to work? It probably isn't going to work. But that's fine because you can string it along until you need to. And then you take the worst center of the two and any other salary, like Hakoum Dadier, perhaps. And then you look for a target like, oh, I don't know, maybe that's more money going out than the contract of someone like Yves Missi coming in. And you play the long game. That is essentially how you could look at it from that perspective.
Another one, Jeremy.
From Hush, it's obviously a long shot and people will hate, but LeBron just feels like the most seamless fit here compared to other contenders. I hope they try. The most recent news of LeBron wants to film this season documentary style. I don't want that at all. Talk about distraction. Like MSG, there's no way that MSG is going to be like, yeah, sure, here's raw unedited footage that could be there. I just don't see that fitting. I could see him in Golden State filming this with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and producing it with his production company and it getting a ton of views. But that is not the sort of thing that I feel like works here. It took, and Andrew, you know this very well, it took so much effort to get any Knicks to speak publicly. And then Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart finally were able to get a podcast going. It's an iron fortress in many ways. That is just the way that MSG operates. Take it however you want. It's just that they care about, they're very sensitive to what's out there because it's their own brand and their own information. Every company is different. I don't see that fitting in with what LeBron's looking for. And that's just the off the court stuff.
Jeremy, one more. Oh, sorry,
From
Josh.
Hush.
I don't want LeBron James on the
Same
basketball team.
A good caveat, at least now that Mitch is gone, we can actually see some real offense from our backup five, not just lobs, but we'll see.
Give credit to Mitch for getting good at the stuff that Mike Brown needed him to get good at. You know, I'm not disagreeing with you, Hush. Like again, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. There was a world where the Knicks can parlay this into a center who could do potentially some more things.
Yes.
They will not be as good as Mitchell Robinson in all likelihood.
But whoever's replacing him can also do different things. Like, I go back to Kevon Looney, really good passer. That's something that would open up quite a bit for the Knicks. That Mitch was purely a play finisher and then sometimes had the DH.
Holding back laughter.
I
actually agree with Jeremy here.
I agree with what Kevon Looney in 2021
This is not, oh, well, hey, Kevon Looney's better than Mitch and everything's fine. That's not the argument I'm making. I also think it's possible that his year in New Orleans was so abysmal that it's
this is where I'm at.
Like the Pelicans were just a mess of an organization and they had other centers to prioritize. And Kevon Looney was not good, but it's also like, cool. You also took a lot of the year to not play. Hopefully you're better rested. And then you could just get us to the deadline and then the Knicks can figure it out. If that's Kevon Looney, who is the guy who is here, we don't know.
The thing we've agreed on the most throughout this whole process is that the Knicks playoff center will be required at the deadline in the same way that Alvarado was acquired at the deadline. The rosters do not have to be finals for the playoffs on July 1st.
The Knicks,
we have all of the next 6 or 7 months.
The Knicks don't win Game 4 of the NBA Finals without the guy. In addition to other games that they won, but they definitely don't win Game 4 of the NBA Finals without the guy they acquired at the deadline.
Exactly. Yeah. So making an executive decision, we're just gonna go back and forth going forward from you to John to Jeremy. So John.
Fury, it hurts because I loved that guy and he was the lone bright spot in dark times, the first member of the championship team to arrive. I just hate to see a player I love at Celtics green. Not the only one, Fury.
CPOP, I wish Dolan would have just paid an additional $150 million on top of the $220 million he's paying the current roster. You will be missed, Mitch. Not our money. So yeah.
No.
Sure.
The Bob M. Clintuck. I like that one. Brunson's prior discount seems tied to a future Supermax. 2026 to 28. Stay under the second apron. 2030 to 2032. Over it. 4-year core window intact. Landry Shamet, Jose Alvarado, Mohamed Diawara, Smart. I love the fact that those three guys are under contract for the next 3 years. And in the case of Mohamed Diawara and Landry Shamet, the next 4 years at the money that they're at. That's like, you want to talk about great business? That's great business.
I agree. We have Jay Blaze. What about a move for someone like Misi? Yeah. Like I said, I could see Misi as more of a deadline acquisition, but it's not impossible. It's not improbable. You could use Dadier's salary and sign and trade any of the free agents that the Knicks have to have outgoing salary that then has more money going out than the money Misi makes to come in. I just assume he's more of a deadline acquisition, but we shall see.
Who else would they have to sign and trade?
McCullough Jr.
Oh, that's right.
Jones,
McCullough Jr.
Trey Jemison, Jeremy Sohan.
Yeah.
Any of those guys.
Oh, Jeremy Sohan's going. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jay. JDM, what's going on, JDM? How are you? Thank you for the generous contribution here. Ashamed to admit, I fell for the Dolan face turn that lasted about 3 days post-chip. Goes on the radio and blindsides his players in front office. Public feud with the mayor. Ruined the vibes in Game 3. Now this. Worst owner in sports. Oof, boy. I'm not going to argue against any of that. I will actually just say you just made me think of something that we have not brought up. It was kind of alluded to with the comment earlier about the Dolan asking the players to sacrifice. I do wonder how the lot about this. I mean, they are all businessmen. Every player in the NBA is a businessman. You have to be an NBA player. And my inclination would be that they are like, this is the guy that signs the checks. It's his decision to make. But you never know. You never know if there's maybe, and that's a curiosity of mine.
From Risto Rucci, Huckporty had real motor and was cheap. If you knew Mitch was leaving, why would you let him go? There's a legit reason to question if there are Leon Rose decisions and not Dolan. I could give you 3.4 million reasons for why the Knicks chose to let him go, all of which are a million more than the Knicks would have paid him at the veteran minimum. So I do want to talk about why this is important, because, and it wouldn't break the bank or anything, but let's say that Alvarado signed a deal for what, the 14 million, 13 million, whatever it was. I think it was whatever it was, where the starting salary would be 4.3 million. And then if they were to sign Shamet for the cheapest amount with his 4-year, 24 million with 5% raises being 5.6 million, and they bring Diawara back. If they were to bring Clarkson back, and if they were to sign, say, again, for the sake of convenience, Looney, they have $3.3 million below the second apron, which means that Huckporty signed for more money with the Sixers than the Knicks have available to pay him and stay below the second apron. Could they have gotten out of it mid-season? Yeah, they probably could have. Could they have ducked it by dumping Dadier's salary? Sure, but you're doing all that for your third string center. He made more money with Philly. No disrespect. That, like, go get your amount. If you're a third string big and you have an opportunity for more playing time and you can get money, it's a no-brainer. But that's why he became an unrestricted free agent when the Knicks didn't give him the qualifying offer. And everything we said, by the way, was true, where he would be a restricted free agent if he had declined it. And if he had taken the qualifying offer, he would have actually wound up making $800,000 less. But at the end of the day, it could just be, hey, I'm going to get offers. And the Knicks said, okay, well, we're not going to bring you back at that price, so we're just going to let you go. And they left.
That makes me sad, actually. I'll get to that in a second. I will just say, I love Ariel Huckporty. Always remember the block on Cornette, yada, yada, yada. He's not worth $1 million more than the minimum to me. And regarding the NBA draft, which hasn't really come up yet on this live stream, that falls, like, why didn't the Knicks come out of the draft with a center? Putting aside the money issue of rostering the player that would have been taken at the 24th pick and the likelihood that there may not have been a player out there willing to do them a Pacome Dadier level solid and take 80% of the rookie scale, and instead would be like, hey, yeah, I want what everybody else is getting here in this spot and give me 120% of the rookie scale, which would have, again, been extra money. That all of that falls under the category for me personally of I trust the front office. And Fred had a tweet earlier alluding to the fact that, like, even on draft night, there were still some uncertainties with the Knicks and what they were going to have and this and that. At that point, knowing the owner's stance on the second apron, that is enough for me personally to trust the decision-making of the front office on draft night with whatever they decided to do, with their evaluations, with Walt Perrin's evaluation of who was worth potentially paying that a little extra for versus not paying that a little bit of extra for. That's where I just stand on all that. Seth Rosenthal. What's up, Seth? Hello. I want to trade Dadier for Oso Ighodaro. We haven't mentioned him a lot yet. Talk about a guy who's under a dirt cheap contract.
Yeah, I don't know why the Suns are doing this. They have plenty of, they probably have too many guards and wings, like Ryan Dunn, right? It's Ryan Dunn.
Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, Ryan Dunn probably isn't even in the rotation kind of thing. So yes, you could send draft capital back to Phoenix. I don't think that he is ready to step into that role. And this is the other thing with the rookie. It takes time to develop a player. So yes, if you want them to be a third string center, great. But we want our cake and we want to eat it too. You want the championship window to stay open. Yeah. It's really hard to find rookies who are good. You know how I know that? Because Diawara was so impressive that we were like, oh my God, you have to find a way to keep this guy. And how many minutes did he play that were non-garbage time in the playoffs?
And
2.
how much did he get paid?
2. And he got paid around 2.6 million. So it seems. So
yeah,
relying on these guys, it's hard to do. If you really want to have a contender and have it be the best it can be, you don't want to think right now of, oh, hey, how can we invest a premium asset into a third string center who's probably not going to see much time.
When were the 2 DOR minutes?
He played
I don't remember them.
a few different sessions. I don't remember the exact game. I just know if you go on cleaning the glass, he's credited with 2 minutes.
2 minutes or 2 possessions?
2 minutes.
That's amazing. I don't remember that at all. I take pride in that too. Here, read this one, Jeremy.
Anthony Perino. I told you all yesterday this would be a big deal to lose him, and it absolutely is. This is devastating. Fuck Dolan.
Not the only one who feels that way, Anthony. By the way, this Andre Drummond story, which is now, I guess, becoming tangentially a Knicks story, that I'm done taking pay cuts, is officially for me the funniest thing that I've seen in free agency. Tell your story, Andre. I don't want for whatever it's worth. I like all of these guys that we've talked about. I would rather have on the team than Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is done. Thanks, Anthony. Andrew German. I love Mitch. The clear deficiencies in the playoffs and him breaking his hand doing God knows what makes this more palatable. There are things that make it more palatable than it otherwise would have been before the playoffs. One of which is the fact that they won the fucking championship. So, yeah.
Can we bring, from Nick Papagiorgio, can we bring Jerome James out of retirement?
Who's the Knicks center from our past that if you can not like Patrick Ewing, like Tyson Chandler division, like role player, level player, if you could teleport them at their like semi-prime age and put them on this team as the backup center, who would you want it to be?
Taj Gibson.
Yeah.
We had the same answer?
I was going to say Tyson, but then that was ruled out. Taj, though, the thing is, in his prime, he was much more of a 4. Not that can't be changed in some degree, but
yeah,
he shifted to the 5 as he got older.
The Knicks version of Taj. Then I'll go Nerlens Noel.
Just thought of that. I'll go Taj, but I'll give a tip of the cap to Robin Lopez as well.
I got a different one. DeAndre Jordan.
He was washed by the time he was here, and
wait,
he's still playing.
Time out. Are you saying when they were in their prime?
When they were on the Knicks? When they were on
they were on the Knicks? No, I don't want DeAndre Jordan. I thought you were saying like, hey, when they were in their prime.
No, he was making all NBA teams.
I was gonna say if we're doing that.
That's why I was
confused
by the premise of the question. Talking about when they are there.
Yeah, rest in peace. Thanks, Nick.
Here,
Dom Cappuccini. What's going on, Dom? I guess that's me, right?
I remember.
I'm sorry if I messed up. I guess we have no other choice that the front office will double down with a trade for a replacement. Well, again, it's not a matter of if, but when. I think where that's concerned, as both Jeremy and Andrew have been talking about. Or is that being irrational and we should be okay with Drummond? Well, apparently it's not going to be Drummond. Richards or Looney as Cat's backup. At this point, I mean, this is where it's like, yes, I completely trust the front office. At the same time, there is a part of me right now that is like, please let it be Kevon Looney. Which I don't know, man. There is a part of me that, yes, they could address it later. There's still a small part of me that would be a little surprised if it's just, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't even say that. I was going to say if it's Looney.
I want to do a quick cap breakdown. So envision a world where the Knicks have the starting 5. They've signed Jose Alvarado to the contract that we just talked about. And we're using the ascending deals for all of this with the numbers that are reported because it's like 13 million plus, 10 million plus, whatever it is. We don't fully know except for Shamet being 24 million. Imagine, so Alvarado's on that contract, a 4.3, Deuce under contract, Dadier. Let's say they bring Clarkson back at the minimum, that a player like Looney is there at the minimum. Shamet earning 5.6 million, Kolek under contract, Nick Richards, just fill in the blank as a name, minimum salary, and Diawara coming back 2.6 million. By that account, the Knicks would have $850,000 in second apron space. And for the team, they would have their starting 5 and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 players under contract, which means their roster would be complete. Now, if they were to do that and then come deadline time, and I'm going to shoot my shot months early, because why not? If they were to get someone like Yves Missi and they traded Dadier and Richards, that would leave them with $2.8 million in second apron space and 13 players. What you could do is, number one, use a good chunk of that on a buyout candidate, and then be able to fill out your 14th man that way. And number two, you can then take Tyler Nickel, who I'm presuming would be on a two-way contract, and you can give him an NBA contract that's prorated in year one and then the minimum salary for year two. And as a result of doing that, you now make someone like Tyler Nickel eligible for the playoffs. I don't anticipate him playing a single minute, but if he had to, you at least, because two-way players can't play in the playoffs. So you're at least saying, well, we've got next year covered. Now we finagled our way. We didn't have to give too much money. They under this plan couldn't even get Nickel to be on a big league contract. But that's how you can say we've got 15 players. And then you look at potential buyout candidates. You look at someone like, and again, people are going to probably grimace at names that are out there, but it's a buyout season. So I look at the buyout market usually as fool's gold. If you were to say, hey, Charlotte Hornets, are you really going anywhere? Are you really trading Grant Williams? We need a backup four. That's like in the same Sohan role. It's like, what guy can we get to do some things like that? That sort of mindset. That's how you're able to take this time and try to fill out your roster over the next 8-9 months and then roll into the playoffs feeling good about yourself. So you're not going to feel as good maybe as right in this moment where it's, oh, there's Mitchell Robinson. He's the backup big. I feel better about that. And I'm sure in this moment, looking at that backup plan is like, well, I would have rather just had Mitchell Robinson. Totally heard. But working within the confines of the second apron and Mitchell Robinson not being here, if you wanted to find a way to boost your second option at the 5, and then bump Looney or a guy, whoever it is, to third, and still add a player on the buyout market and have Nickel in the door, that's how you do it.
Two things. Yes, all that. It's how they operate. It's how they've operated. All that makes sense. In terms of other options to sign on the minimum right now, is just looking like a free agent list, again, under the category of names that will make people groan. Marvin Bagley III apparently was like, there was a reporting from Michael Scotto that he might be in line for the mid-level. We'll see. And then it's funny, we're an hour, almost 2 hours into this. First time we've anyone has said the name Jeremy Sohan. We were talking before about, don't laugh. We were talking before about like not better, but different. I wonder if there is, I'm just be curious again, is there any internal thinking? Again, talk about take Brock Aller out for a beer. About like kicking the idea around of like, what did they see in Sohan last year? Do they think there is a world where that guy can potentially play a little backup 5 for them? Again, I don't know.
I feel like they saw more of a, at times, small ball 5. It even took Mike Brown time for him to be that potential role, but I just think with the backup, number one, is he going to sign to be, say, the third string backup center? Number two, is that his best role? Or is he more of a tweener who can see minutes at the 5, but usually is more of a non-shooting 4? And how do you play? I don't hate it. I just don't love it. And I'd go in a different direction. But at the end of the day, if he signed on the dotted line, I wouldn't be upset by it at all. But he'd have to be the third string big.
Yeah, I think that would be more comfortable for me as well. All right, let's keep it going.
Just to close a loop real quick, I went and found Mohamed Diawara's 2 non-garbage time minutes. It's because cleaning the glass doesn't count third quarter minutes at any point as garbage time. And he played 2 minutes in game 6 with the Knicks up by 60. As well as Tyler Kolek, by the way, in game 6 against their only game 6 against the Atlanta Hawks. So I was racking my brain for when it would have been. And I wondered if it was game 3 against the Sixers, but lo and behold, it was because of a technicality. So that even like furthers Jeremy's point that we were like, we need more Diawara, and he played 0 important minutes in the playoffs. And now he has a chance to get in the rotation more. So we'll see. Hey, all right. Start with Jeremy. We'll go back and forth.
Conditionals. Yay, us Mitch haters are celebrating. It's just me. I don't think it's just you, truthfully. I'm not saying it's me, but there are others out there who are. big network of Knicks fans who are just fine with this being the case and maybe even happy about it. So I really don't think it's just you.
RJP, if the Lakers waive and stretch Ayton, is he an option? Yes, he would be an option to come and sign on the minimum if that's the direction the Knicks wanted to go. I wonder, given everything we've ever heard and learned about DeAndre Ayton, is that the guy that they would want to bring in?
They're not going to waive and stretch him, by the way. They're not going to pay $2 and change for the next 3 years, including this one, just to get him off the books. If anything, I feel like they could move him at the deadline. He's a backup 5 now.
Well, now he's a third string 5 because they have Kessler and Mamu. And I mean, they could play Mamu a little bit before.
I think they play. I think they can be flexible with Mamu.
Okay, that's maybe.
From Greg Film Stuff. Appreciate the contribution. To JC's point, we all love Mitch, but he's often injured, can't hit free throws, complained on Instagram about his role when he only offers the lob threat and got injured before the finals. Again, love Mitch, but New York let him get away with a lot. I know it's echoing my point from earlier, but I'm going to agree with Greg agreeing with me.
I'll just the caveat. I don't think anyone in the front office, locker room, etc., cared about his tweets. It's Mitch. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, but it's the on-court stuff.
The on-court stuff, yeah.
Oh, that's different. But the tweet stuff is just like I don't think people care. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that.
I'll read these two from Frank back to back. Frank Luciano, or I am Frank Luciano. No doubt Mitch took offense to Dolan's statement of not going over the second apron. Can't help but feel he picked the team he knew would ring the loudest to our front office and across our fan base. Mentally prepared for his exit, but was okay with it because of his faults. But damn, it's gonna sting to see Mitch raise a trophy with that damn team. You're already saying they're gonna win the title, Frank?
He got a player option in year 3. I don't know what other team is offering that.
We could put the kibosh on this right now. Where was the other Mitch team? Boston spent their money. The Lakers got their guy. One way or another, Detroit's gonna bring back Jalen Duren. The Bulls spent their money. No other cap space teams. Go look at the teams out there. I actually have them because I kept the tweet bookmarked from Bobby Marks. The teams that had the $15 million mid-level. I'm just going to run through them real quick. Atlanta, nope. Charlotte, nope. Dallas, nope. Oh, and I say nope because these teams make no sense. Clippers, nope. Memphis, nope. Milwaukee, nope. New Orleans, nope. Philly, they already took one Knicks center. They weren't taking another one. Nope. And actually, Philly didn't even have the full because they had already spent some of it on somebody else. I forget who. Portland, nope. San Antonio, nope. Utah, nope. Washington, nope. This was the team that was willing to pay Mitchell Robinson, as we have said many times on the show over many years. All it takes is one.
I'm not saying the Celtics are going to win the title.
That too.
Yet because they signed Mitchell Robinson. That was a good exercise you did there, John. My simple response is one team we know will hang a banner soon, and it's the New York Knicks. I am not crowning the Celtics champions because they signed a backup center. So
okay, let's keep it going. Jonathan Sander, one Jonathan to another. You have to consider the physical and mental health of Mitch. The broken hand has been buried probably more than it should have. Agree that it has been buried probably more than it should have. The mental health part of it, it's a very complicated issue because it's like if you know someone has potentially some stuff going on, it's like, what is the proper response to that? Like, it's like is that a justification for letting them go? I don't even look. My wife's a mental health counselor. I'll ask her about those things and see what she says. But I don't even know how that factors in.
Can we take a moment? Because I don't think this has really been. I haven't talked about it. I don't know if you guys have thought about this. Mike Brown could have lied. He could have lied and said
it never made one inkling of sense that he said what he said.
He could have said, yeah, he heard it during practice. And no one would have been the wiser. No one outside of it. It could have stayed internal. He was honest. I respect the honesty. But the honesty hurts because it opens up this type of conversation. This was clearly something that they were like, yeah, we're upset. We're really frustrated that this happened. And we're not going to protect you if the question gets asked. And now we're in this position.
Well, like PR quickly jumped in that press conference. I thought you were going in a different direction. Like, this is, I don't know what D chess this would be, but like.
No. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I just meant it more of like, we're going to sit here and say that Knicks PR wasn't coaching Mike Brown at any point to say, hey, so assuming the Mitch injury comes up, let's not. He said what he said.
That doesn't make any sense, which is why the 8D chess point of like the Knicks were like, they planned for Mike to say that to try to dampen Mitch's market, because who would sign a guy that broke his hand before the NBA Finals? Like, I can't even.
Right, which is why I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I thought John was going a different direction of it being a competitive thing with the Spurs. Like, he could have said what he said just to, put out there how his injury might affect the series. Again, I hope Fred writes about this in his book.
Thank you, Jonathan, for the contribution.
Lunas, Taj Gibson got one more in him.
As a third big, is he signed?
No. John.
Talk about a way to win back my heart, James Dolan.
With a banner will win back your heart, hopefully.
Yes, it will.
You know what? You read this.
Haitian Ferg. I saw it already. With this news about Mitch, I'm assuming the 13th Amendment show is canceled. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna.
Please, I've timestamped it. Go watch the 5-hour live stream we did where nothing happened last night. So we made stuff happen instead.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about that, Jeremy.
Isaiah Jackson. Could this be a gap year before Cat can take a cut? A gap year talent-wise? I'm confused about the question.
I'm not sure what the implication is here.
Isaiah, put something in the, like, you don't have to pay for it. Put something in the chat, like, to clarify what you mean.
To be very clear, for anybody who may have been listening to certain radio programs on WFAN in the last few weeks, it is barred by the collective bargaining agreement for a player to renegotiate his contract to take less money than what he has already signed for. That's number one.
Unless the team has cap space and they can renegotiate.
Yeah, but even if they have cap space, it's a renegotiation to give them. No, I think I looked this up. Unless
the Grizzlies did it last year with Jaren Jackson Jr.
taking less money than what he is owed.
Mm-hmm. Jaren Jackson Jr. wasn't a free agent last summer.
No, I understand that
40 some odd million. Yeah,
but the whole reason you need cap space is so you could give them more money in the present moment, like what the Kings did with Sabonis a few years ago.
Correct. Yeah, the Knicks don't have cap space to do that.
But also the Knicks didn't have cap space. It was a moot point, but
it's also, those are examples of paying someone more, not paying them less.
Yes, exactly. Was more my point. Okay. Thanks, Isaiah. This is me, Akiva. I wonder if they cash in the rights to center James Nagy, who played in college last year, actually. Fun fact. 21 years old, 7-footer, big wingspan, long live big country. Yeah, I don't know what James Nagy, where his stock is at right now. Is he a viable NBA player? Yeah, he was the first pick in the second round not too long ago. The Knicks got him back, presumably for a reason, in the cat trade. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. I didn't watch him in college last year, so I can't really tell you much about him.
Well, the fact that we didn't hear about him dominating is a concerning sign. But also, if the Knicks liked him that much, they would have put him on the two-way.
That's also accurate. Yes.
The backup center at Baylor is not an adequate replacement for the guy who cut the rebound that sealed the NBA Finals last year. No disrespect to Kiva, but I don't think James Nagy is the answer.
And who just signed a 3-year, $45 million contract.
Yeah.
This is you.
David De La Roca. I'll always love Mitch. Great player, better person. Deuce for Kalkbrenner. I don't think Dadier plus seconds would do it. Knicks in 5. said this before, say it again. I'm not trading Deuce to replace Mitchell Robinson. I don't like the concept of Mitch and Deuce for a backup center.
As an aside, you would think that the Hornets would want to keep Kalkbrenner, the guy they just drafted and has several more years left on his deal, as opposed to the guy who's due a new contract in less than 12 months. That's number one. Number two, go look at some of the deals that have been made over the years where it's like a salary and a bunch of seconds. You could get some pretty darn good players for that in the NBA. The whole second round picks as currency is like, that's a real thing, or at least the evidence would suggest that it is a real thing. GD Nation, what's going on? I've been excited every time Mitch has checked into a game. He has been the Nick version of the oldest Billy Goat gruff brother. Love me a Mitch lob. I thank you for saying that, because there was something about a Mitchell Robinson lob that is special, man. It's special. Yeah. There's no two ways about it.
I more like the Mitch like rebound-a-thons where he would just wear teams down with another extra possession. That Cavs series is forever, thankfully.
All right, let's try to get through these last bunch because I am apparently hosting a play date at 2 p.m.
Yeah. All right, so 2 from Dan Hidalgo.
I got him. Dan, thank you for the contributions. I can't explain why, but this makes Hart feel more important than ever from a culture perspective.
Did he break up for you, Jeremy?
Sorry.
No.
Oh, okay. John, you broke up for me temporarily. So repeat the question.
It's not me. It's you.
It's me. Okay.
I can't explain why, but this makes Hart feel more important than ever from a culture perspective. Congrats to Mitch. Sucks, but could be okay long term. I've said a lot of things over the course of 2 hours. I have not thought about the Knicks culture once. I'm not worried about the Knicks culture. And then one more from Dan. I know you can't ask Mitch to wait to sign, but does the timing of this hurt our leverage in a potential trade because teams know they're desperate?
It's negligible at this point.
Ian said it a couple of days ago. The entire league is operating under the assumption the Knicks are going to stay under the second apron. So by that logic, everybody would have been expecting them to be in the market for a low-level center.
It's also not the first time they've been in the market for a low-level center or just in need of a center. Like when Hartenstein left, we were like, all right, who's it going to be? And then centers went off the board. And then months later, we found the replacement for Hartenstein. It's Karl-Anthony Towns. So we got time. Don't worry.
Conditionals. My logical excuse. Nick's got to go over the second apron sometime to keep the starters. I hope so. Why blow it on Mitch? He's not starter capable and injury prone. My personal... he posts AI slop. He goes on my hate list. I made the argument for the second apron being delayed as opposed to this year in a cap or no cap. It's certainly relevant. We'll see.
And just from a pure like back of napkin math standpoint, to pick up on something Jeremy said a couple comments ago, I'm not trading Deuce McBride for a backup center. Deuce McBride has just repeatedly been a 20 to 25 minute a game player for the Knicks. Whoever they get to play this position is going to play roughly half that, maybe a little bit more than half that. So I think that, and again, it's not that simple because new contract, the whole thing, and other, Knicks have other options at that spot, but just part of the consideration. Okay. Bill Peterfriend, Joker is up this year and hasn't re-signed. He could force his way out. No crap, they won't just trade him, Andrew. But if he insists on a spot, he and Cat may match. If
I understood where you were coming from too, Bill. They're not trading him for Karl-Anthony Towns is more what I'm saying.
If the Denver Nuggets ever got to a point where they had to trade Nikola Jokic, my guess would be that they would be looking for a package of young players and picks. And unlike the now oft injured Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was also older in years than Nikola Jokic, I think the market would be perhaps a bit frothier if the 3-time MVP was actually on the market.
Conditionals again. And going to the Celtics is whack. KFS join my hate club.
You're not gonna get me to join.
I'll join.
I will absolutely
Celtics
do
hate
it.
club. What are you talking about?
Of the Celtics?
Yes.
Oh, I hate the
Eventually
Celtics. Sure, yeah.
I'm glad you finally got
No,
to that hate club.
Conditionals is asking him to be clear based on the past comments about the hate club of Mitch going to the Celtics.
Oh,
I don't think because
okay.
Conditionals is mentioned about
Yeah, he's
not
not a big
liking
Mitch guy.
So this is further reasoning in Conditionals' mind for why to join the hate club.
That's right. I forgot the first super chat he sent in was that it was just him. Won't join the hate Mitch. Will join the root against him.
We're also leaving out a very key point. If the Knicks go to the White House, next question.
Again, join the 13th Amendment show airing later.
It still exists.
Yeah, it's good unless it gets repealed.
Yeah.
Mark Ruskus. I remember noticing some upside in Jemison. I'd be interested in more of him. Question: you think Shamit was asked to take less to try and keep Mitch? I don't think he was asked to take less. I think they basically said this is how we're mapping out our team, and we really want you to be an integral piece here, but this is what we need financially for it to work. With Jemison, again, he's turning, I think, 27 later this year. He's just an older guy. If he's on the two-way, great, but to me, he's not an NBA caliber player.
And actually, Mark, now that you bring it up with Shamit, the Shamit contract should have been the clearest indication that like they were not going above the second apron. Because if I was Elijah Shamit and I took that deal in a market where fucking Kevin Huerter is getting whatever the hell Kevin Huerter got,
Quentin Grimes
getting what 4 for 50 or whatever that was, 60, excuse me,
60. Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I signed for this, and you're just gonna blow past the second apron? Like, how, can I renegotiate my contract that I just signed? Like, we should have gotten a clue there that it was very much going to be a thing that they were going to do. Thanks, Mark.
I'm going to help because John's in a rush. So Aaron LaFond, thank you, Aaron, for the contribution. Hey, guys, I'm the guy who illustrated Kevin Knox for that MSG Network commercial in 2018. In between the filming, they asked me who I think would be a surprise pick this year. I said Mitchell Robinson. That's very, very nice, Aaron. Thank you for the contribution. Dom Cappuccini with 2 of them. Not that it matters now, but does Boston still probably capture Mitch if they won the Giannis sweepstakes? Ooh.
Probably not.
I doubt it.
Probably not.
I would still, even knowing everything we know now, I'm still happy that Giannis is in Miami.
I agree. And Dom with another one. Say the Knicks keep Deuce and they add 2 vet minimum with center. That wait until trade deadline to figure out if need be. Excuse me. Do you expect Knicks to fall in seeding? What happened today change your rankings from yesterday at all, fellas? You had Knicks 1. We all had Knicks 1, Celtics 2.
No.
The only thing that I think would change is that the Knicks just still don't care a ton about the regular season like this past year. So I'll still say no. I don't think this is what changes that.
This doesn't change it. I think the Celtics are going to trade Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And what they trade him for might make
That'll
toothpaste is out of the tube, 100%.
100%. I don't know what they're trading him for. There is a world where I leave the other side of it and say that's a better regular season team than the Knicks. You know? So we'll see where they eventually
Very
go.
possible.
Oh, you did this before, Jared. No, you didn't do this specific one. Go ahead, John.
The player that they could get under the second apron, how likely is it that their value is even close to Robinson? Are we even sure that they could stay under it to fill the roster anyway? Well, they can. It's just about signing a player to the minimum.
Can and likely will. And how close is their value on paper?
Listen,
not.
Sorry.
But in reality, it could work out.
Actually, there is no scenario where they could even go over the second apron now because I'm trying to think what.
No, they can.
I guess they could re-sign Jordan. No. How could they?
Nothing has hard capped them right now.
Yeah, but like what fees functionally, what is the contract that they could sign for the amount of money? Like it would have to be someone that they have like full or early bird rights on, right?
Well, I mean, there's nothing theoretically stopping them from doing what I mentioned of giving 3 veterans minimum exception and then adding Tyler Nickel to the team to get to 15 and then they're okay. Or they could give Clarkson a bit more than the minimum because of the non-bird rights, but they just I doubt they will.
Yeah, no, but for anybody thinking like, well, they could use the whole mini mid level, as you pointed out yesterday, Jeremy. If they use the mini mid level, that caps them at the second. So there you go. Okay.
All right, 5 more. I got it. Matty Heads. Tragic. I gotta call him Judas at Fanatics Fest now. Love you, Matty. Good to see you. 4-5 Trey. Would you trade a future pick for Kalel Ware?
It's not even the pick; it's the money at this point. Like right at this point in time, right now, it's not impossible.
Milwaukee's not doing that.
2 from Jessica, Clarissa Elsner. The 90s Nebraska Cornhuskers recruiting tactic wasn't just to get good talent. It was acquired talent you don't want others to have. Is this what this is?
Didn't the Cornhuskers have like massive, didn't they violate like a bunch of rules in order to get those players like kicking back? I feel like they did. But
your guess is as good as mine that literally every good college football team from the past probably skirted around rules to acquire said team that they needed to get. Another one from Jessica. Mitch wanted to play in a city with more Republicans.
Listen, a lot of fodder for the 13th Amendment show.
There you go.
The program had a lot of issues, but
you looked up Cornhusker.
Yeah, but they won. That was the important thing.
Paris Duggar, Mitch is dead to me. This is LOL. Celtics are desperate. I tried to do the emphasis as well. Hi, Izzy. All right, last one. Alex and Alexander Meisler. What's the biggest difference? Meisler, excuse me. What's the biggest difference in the play style of the bench next year, while obviously acknowledging that we don't know who fills the bench out next?
I would just say briefly, like when you can't. There's 2 conversations when it comes to the bench. There's the Brunson bench led, and there's the Cat bench led unit. Because despite a couple of instances in the playoffs, like generally speaking, we're always going to have one of those 2 guys on the court. I would presume that continues. So really, the conversation is about what do the Brunson led minutes look like, and he's gotten very comfortable over the years just having a guy to screen and dive for him. And again, if there's a pivot, if there's a stretch 5 for the minimum out there, I don't know if that player exists, but if there were, like, so are we just seeing very radically different backup offense with Brunson leading the way? Like, we don't know.
All right, you saying stuff.
Oh, that's it. Well, first of all, thank you everybody for checking out another emergency live stream here at Knicks Film School. We appreciate everybody spending part of their Wednesday with us. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Rebecca. It's an emotional day. There's no 2 ways about it. I think we'll all take several days, maybe even longer, to process the fact that Mitchell Robinson is no longer a New York Knick and plays for the effing Celtics. Doesn't change the fact that the Knicks are defending NBA champions, and nothing that happens moving forward will do that. And I understand that might sound like weak sauce, right? That I just like, well, don't you got anything else? The Knicks, no, that remains the leading story, and it will remain the leading story for the foreseeable future. Wish Mitch the best. But as many have said, we ride. The Knicks will figure this out. They have the best front office in the sport. So regardless of why this happened, it is not a death knell. Knicks are going to be a very good basketball team next year. Let's see how they get from point A to point B. See ya.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another edition of the Emergency Live Stream. If you're watching this video, please like the video. Remember to subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast feed, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. More Emergency Live streams to come based on whatever news seems to happen in the not too distant future. For Jeremy, John, I am Andrew. We'll talk to you soon. Peace. That's how you do it, Jeremy. You got to sign off all the way. There you go.
Yes, sir.